So I've literally just got back from watching Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Now, is it a perfect film? No. In fact, there was a couple things that annoyed me about it, but overall, I absolutely loved it. Now, the things I didn't like were actually more technical things. The main one was the fact that there's a lot of flashbacks to stuff that happened in the previous films. Now, when you're dealing with an eighth film in the franchise, chances are anybody who's watching it is already a fan and has watched the previous seven, so it's quite unnecessary. You don't need the constant reminders of what we as the fans are already aware of. And if any member of the public is going to watch the eighth film in the franchise having not watched the previous seven, chances are they're just in it to enjoy a bit of action. And luckily, there's plenty of that in here as well. As usual, Tom Cruise sets a really high standard for action. He cares about the audience and what we experience on screen. It's all done for real, as far as I'm aware. I'm sure there's minimal green screen, but overall, most of it is obviously done for real. The aerial sequences in particular were absolutely incredible. There's a long underwater scene as well. And when I say long, it didn't drag. It's just fleshed out, and it's quite good at building that tension gradually. Really unique, different to what we've seen in the previous films. It astounds me really that after 8 films, Tom Cruise and the whole cast and crew is still able to make it feel fresh and exciting and have tension. And I'd say more than any other film in the franchise, this one feels like more of a final conclusion without spoiling anything. However, there is possible opportunity to continue it in some way or another. Obviously, I don't want to spoil what happens to certain characters and stuff, but what I will say is everything that does happen in it feels earned, and it feels like it's payoff from what they've kind of built up in previous films, but also especially what they built up in the last film, Dead Reckoning, which is obviously important because this is meant to be a precursor to that anyway. So overall, it was a really great film. If you like action films, check it out. I saw it in IMAX, and if you have an IMAX near you at all, it's definitely worth doing because I could see the aspect ratio changing in a couple of ways, but I actually did it in a clever way, which I'm hoping they carry over to when they release it on 4K, because my only gripe with the Dead Reckoning 4K was that it didn't have the changing aspect ratio, whereas I'm really hoping that when this comes to physical media, they give us the full IMAX ratio, because it looked incredible in IMAX. I'm definitely going to see it again, maybe not in IMAX because it's expensive, but I'm definitely going to see it again in the cinema. I highly recommend you guys do as well. Check it out. It's a great film. It's a lot of fun. And if you like the Mission Impossible films, I'd be very surprised if you don't like this one. So check it out.